So here's a half shocking thing that I hadn't really thought about until I read an article about it not too long ago. Now, this applies mostly to my country, country as of right here, right now. But I would assume that if you live in the Western world, it applies probably to just about any country with any sort of political system, irrespective of whether that country is a republic, a monarchy, whatever it is. Here's where I'm getting at. So, our elected officials in my country frequently travel around, meet with people. And when I say people, I mean, in their eyes, important people, decision makers. And these people, these decision makers, they work for think tanks, organizations, small businesses, etc., etc. In fact, in the article I read, they interviewed some politician who worked as not a congresswoman, a parliamentary elected official. And she admitted that, look, we're drinking too much alcohol. I'm going to arrangements and events all year around where I can drink for pretty much where I can drink as much as I want. And just think about this. And they're talking about nonsense. I mean, some of these people are probably talking about how to forbid eating meat because meat is bad for the planet because of climate change, or how they can best castrate and get children to mutilate themselves because of a certain ideological direction. I don't know about you, but I don't support that. I don't support that at all. And so, guess who's paying for a lot of these events and arrangements? Well, it's you and me. It's our taxpayer money because we're funding their alcoholism. This is turning into a bit of a rant, really. And maybe rightfully so, because it's completely bonkers if you think about it. Why should I pay with my hard-earned money for a politician to go around to ideal organizations and think tanks and spread the message about how meat eating is bad for our planet and how cows burp and fart and therefore can't be allowed to live, or how we should make all boys dress up as girls? Think about it. I'm not saying that is the case. I'm saying that probably somewhere those conversations are taking place. Now, are there lots of other important conversations as well? Yes, probably. Is that a little bit unfortunate that we are paying for these conversations? Yes, they are. Yes, it is. And like I said, I could sit here for days and days and vent and rant and moan about how unfair it is that our elected officials are, well, first and foremost, their salaries paid by us. They don't have any certain responsibility in the same way because their employer is the state, or more specifically spoken, the parliament. And also, we fund their travels and their journeys and their drinking and their eating. Now that I'm talking about this, I'm getting a little bit worked up and upset. Maybe I should go on a rant, but that's not the point here. Well, the point is simply to make you a little bit upset as well and thinking about it. Anyway, the bottom line is, this is a perfect scene when the alcohol is floating around, good conversations are being had, there's lots of good food, they are shielded from the rest of the ordinary people, they don't have to mingle, because these are closed arrangements and these people half know each other. I could say it's corruption. I'm not going to go there because you could argue that it's borderline corruption. But also, it sets the scene perfectly for good persuasion, because it's much easier to make a decision that's a little bit tough when there's alcohol floating around, you're out with good friends, the mood is good, the vibe is good, you're eating good food, and like I said, you're shielded from most of the problems and most of the average Joe in the world. And guess what? Very few of these people march in the Pride Parade every single year. And I'll leave you with that. If you want to learn more about persuasion, then get subscribed to my publisher list. The link to do so is below the episode description wherever you're watching and or listening to this, and I'll see you there.